This is an introduction to intermediate drill movements presented by Air Force ROTC Detachment 159. This video will consist of explanations of how to complete column movements, flanking movements, left and right step, to the rear, route step, and at ease marching movements. These drill movements are crucial to improving in your leadership and followership and will greatly assist in building teamwork and unit cohesion.
The first drill movements we will go over are column movements. A column movement is useful for a commander to turn their flight 90 degrees to the right or left. Please be aware that a column movement may only be called while the flight is in column formation. Notice here how the guidon bearer is in front of the third element leader. This is column formation. The preparatory command is column left or column right, and the command of execution is march. When calling a column left, the commands are called on the left foot, and when calling a column right, the commands are called on the right foot. During a column left, after the command of execution, march, the first element leader will suspend arm swing, pivot 90 degrees to the left, take one 24-inch step with the left foot, and resume coordinated arm swing. Starting with the right foot, they will begin taking 12-inch steps, also known as half step. The rest of their element will follow as they march forward, executing the same movements. And then starting with the right foot, they will begin taking 12-inch steps and reestablishing cover and distance. At the same time as the first element leader, the second element leader with coordinated arm swing will take a 45-degree pivot to the left. Take two 24-inch steps forward, then complete another 45-degree pivot. They will take 24-inch steps until next to the first element leader, then begin taking 12-inch steps and reestablish stress and interval. Lastly, the third element leader with coordinated arm swing will take a 45-degree pivot to the left, take four 24-inch steps forward, and then complete another 45-degree pivot. They will take 24-inch steps until next to the second element leader, and then they will begin taking 12-inch steps to reestablish stress and interval. The remaining members for all elements will reestablish stress and cover while in half step. The guidon bearer also is required to follow the column movement and will take 24-inch steps until ahead of the third element leader. They will pivot 45 degrees to the left, taking 24-inch steps to be in front of the third element leader, and then pivot another 45 degrees to the right, beginning taking 12-inch steps. After the third element has caught up with the other two and everyone in formation is in half step, the commander will call forward march, and the formation will resume marching in quick time. For column right, all previously stated movements are executed, but mirrored in respect to the right foot instead. Additionally, the third element will be taking the 90-degree pivot, while the remainder execute the 45-degree pivots. The guidon bearer will execute the same movement as the third element leader and take the 45-degree pivots to position themselves back in front of the third element.
The next movements we will cover are flanking movements. A flanking movement is useful for a commander to immediately switch the orientation of the formation to the direct right or left. The preparatory command is right flank or left flank, depending on the direction, and the command of execution is march. This command is called on the foot of the indicated direction. Right flank will be called on the right foot, and left flank will be called on the left foot. After the command of execution march is given, the entire flight will take one more 24-inch step forward, suspend arm swing, then pivot 90 degrees on the outside foot towards the direction indicated in the preparatory command. Then, starting with the inside foot, begin taking 24-inch steps and resume coordinated arm swing. For example, for a left flank, after the command of execution march is given on the left foot, the entire flight will take one more step with their right foot and use that foot to pivot 90 degrees to the left while keeping their arms pinned to their sides. Cadets will continue marching forward in this formation and resume coordinated arm swing. The same applies for a right flank, whereas after the command of execution march is given on the right foot, the entire flight will take one more step with their left foot and pivot 90 degrees to the right with their arms pinned to their sides, then resume forward with coordinated arm swing. The next movements we will be covering are left step and right step march. Left and right step movements are called from a stationary position and most useful for a commander to quickly relocate their flight a short distance to the left or right, depending on their current position. The preparatory command is left step or right step, depending on the desired direction, and the command of execution is march. Both commands will be called from the position of attention. After the command of execution march is called, cadets will move their foot up just enough to clear the ground, move their foot 12 inches to the designated direction, and then bring their feet together without scraping the ground. For example, for left step, after the command of execution march, the flight will all slightly pick up their left foot off the ground, move their left foot 12 inches to the left, then bring their right foot to match their left while not scraping it along the ground. The command to halt the flight and stop left or right step is flight halt, flight being the preparatory command and halt being the command of execution. Flight halt may only be called from the position of attention, so the commander may not call commands in the middle of left or right step when their feet are separated mid-movement.
The next movement we will go over is to the rear. The purpose of to the rear is to allow formation to turn 180 degrees in one swift movement. The preparatory command is to the rear, and the command of execution is march. Both commands are given as the right foot strikes the ground. After the command is given on the right foot, the flight will simultaneously take one 12-inch step with their left foot, placing it in line with the right foot. They will suspend arm swing and pivot on the balls of both feet, turning 180 degrees to the right. They will resume coordinated arm swing and take one 12-inch step with the left foot. They will then begin taking 24-inch steps with the right foot.
The next movement we will be covering is route step. The command route step is useful for a formation who is marching on unapproved surfaces such as grass and can only be called from QuickTime. The preparatory command is route step, and the command of execution is march. The command may be given on either foot as long as the preparatory command and command of execution are given on the same foot. After the command of execution, march, the flight will take one more 24-inch step and then assume route step. They are allowed to talk and look around as long as proper DCID is maintained. Cadence is not required during route step. In order to guide the flight while at route step, the commander may call in-kind movements to direct their flight. For example, if the commander wanted their flight to turn 90 degrees to the right while at route step, they would say guide, incline 90 degrees to the right, and the guide and element leaders of the flight would turn 90 degrees to the right, while the remaining individuals follow behind. Remember, if you have a guide with a guide on, then you would refer to them as guide on bearer instead of just guide. At ease march follows the exact same guidelines, you just aren't allowed to speak during at ease march.
Remember, application is the key to success for all drill movements, so make sure you are taking the time to practice to be confident in your own skills. For more detailed information, please refer to DAFPAM 34-1203. And don't forget to check out our other socials. Instagram, Twitter, and our website are linked down below. On behalf of Detachment 159, thank you for watching.